Happy Tuesday, feeling things. Formerly. I wanted to say formerly Four Things with Amy Brown because someone might be tuning in right now and they're like, which tuning in, is that totally a radio thing? Like tuning into the dial?
Yes, it is.
But someone might be streaming us, downloading us at the moment and listening. And they're like, wait, what is feeling things? Because I'm just trying to listen to Four Things with Amy Brown. But welcome to Feeling Things, which is formerly Four Things with Amy Brown. I'm Amy.
I'm Kat.
And today is episode 1 of Feeling Things. But it's episode 650 if we were still Four Things.
That's crazy.
So we could look at it that way, which I don't know how we're really going to count it because it's on the same feed. And we have somewhere between, I thought it was 25 million, but I got an update from our PR person because she was putting together a press release and it said nearly 27 million downloads. But if you're listening right now, and this is episode 1 of Feeling Things, and someone's actually listening, then we have 1 download and counting. So we're just excited that you're here. Yeah. And if you have time, or when you have time, if you can subscribe, follow, leave a review, that is very helpful, especially during this transition, this makeover, this rebrand. And we're going to get into a lot of different things today. One thing specifically that is by request by Kat, which is about con artists, but it's mostly because you think I'm getting conned.
By your face fitness person.
Right.
And we're going to go through a checklist and see.
It could be true. I paid money officially 30 days ago.
Yeah. And are you getting something out of it?
Well,
we'll get into it.
When we go over your con artist checklist, I'll tell you kind of an email I got today from them. And I was like, oh, perfect timing. We're also going to go over core emotions. And today will be part 1 because Kat's the therapist here, so she knows the basics. Did you learn the 8 core emotions in school or?
No, because there's not like an actual 8 feelings, 8 emotions. If you look on the internet, you're going to get a million different answers. But there's a couple places that I've found what I use and what works for me, that it splits them up into 8, and then there's like subsections. So we're going to go through all of those. So
8 core emotions coming up. And it may seem a little bit basic, but what's cool about our emotions, which we're going to cover the first 4 today, and then next Tuesday we'll do the other 4. But feelings can be a gift or they can be an impairment. And so you might be like, oh, I don't need to know the core feelings, but or I already know them. Of course, I've heard those before, but you may not know the gift that they give you, and you may not know the impairment that they give you. So that's really what we're going to be going over.
Which that I feel like when you learn that, you're more apt to actually feel the uncomfortable stuff because you know that there's a gift in it. And sometimes it just feels like, oh, this sucks, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and I want the gifts. Like, I'm going to chase the gifts. Like, now that I know there's gifts, like at the end of the tunnel, I'm going to be like, okay, let's just feel this faster.
Like last week when you hurt me,
I did.
That gave me a gift.
Well, I didn't know that I
felt hurt. I felt hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you were able to share that with me. And hurt is one of the first 4 that we're going to go over today. So we'll share that story. And I learned something too in that the faster you speak about it, the quicker it gets resolved. Deep. I mean,
quote me,
which obviously that is exactly what happens. But so many times we put things off or we don't want to bring it up because we don't want to be a burden or we don't want to seem silly, or it's like, oh, is it us? Which there was some of it going on with you, and you were willing to address that one-on-one with your therapist, which I can respect.
I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just my stuff coming up before I brought it up to you. But then we brought it up pretty quickly.
Well, you didn't even need to bring it up to me because I brought it up to you.
Yeah, we're giving away the whole story, though.
Okay, well, we'll do it when we get into hurt. And I do have a little side story about my daughter, Stashira. She's 17. And, we're starting to build like these segments. Like in a second, we'll do the feeling of the day. So every Tuesday episode, people will get a new feeling of the day that we're going to focus on and talk about. And today's word, like I never really thought about how that was an actual feeling. I mean, I know I've used it like I feel, but I'm like, wait, that's a feeling? Like, where's the gift? Yeah. So we'll go over that in a second. But as we were building out, like, things we want to have, like in radio, we call them benchmarks. So core things, when you tune in, you're going to get it. Like when Kat and I were doing the fifth thing, the bonus episode for the Four Things podcast, we had a quote every episode. So now on the Tuesday episodes, you're going to get a feeling of the day. And so I was going over some of that with Tashira, and she goes, "Can I have a segment on the podcast?" And I was like, "Well, what would your segment be?" And she goes, "Oh, I can talk about all kinds of things, but I really like to discuss about that time that, you know, you thought you knew that guy and you were hanging out with that guy all the time. And I knew all along, like I knew right away, this is something's off, something's not right.
Stop.
And how mom's going to fall for anything." And I was like, "Oh."
Tashira, that'd be a good segment.
Well, I said, "Well, lucky for her, you're going over a con artist checklist. So this will apply to anything, whether it's, you know, something you've signed up for, dating, a work relationship.
Yeah.
You can spot the con artist with the list." But she really was eager
So she knew
to come on and make a segment. Oh, she knew. And we talked about it whenever I was severing that relationship, which is a little backstory on that. And I'm not going to get into the whole thing because I had to shut it down. I'm like, "So sure, there's not going to be a segment." But I was spending time with this one particular person, and it turned out not to be a healthy situation.
it's a good way to put it.
And she was 16 at the time.
Yeah.
And she knew it. Like she knew right away. She goes, "Oh, Mom, I could have told you that from
Why didn't
the
you?
beginning." I know.
She's like, she's an adult. She can make an own decision.
She's like, "I'm good at sniffing people out and
Yeah.
you know, figuring out those details." So she wanted to come on and share her thoughts about that. However, out of respect for other people involved, like I don't think it'd be fair for me to tell that entire story.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll feel differently in like a year.
Yeah. It's too close right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also one of those things that the further away from it, the funnier it gets, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Well, wait another year, so it'll be even more funny.
I was thinking about that the other day. It's like, God, how quickly our lives turn. Because now I'm in a completely different type of relationship, completely different type of person. You know, like he's employed.
He has a car.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay, feeling of the day.
Yeah.
You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay. We don't have any like fun feeling of the day.
Like a
Feeling
little
of-
extra
yeah.
song.
It's-
Here is the feeling of the day.
Okay, Kat nailed it. Which, by the way, when I get into the feeling of the day, which is ugly is the feeling of the day. But Kat got to my house and I was running a little behind getting ready because I am drawing on my eyebrows right now because I had them lasered off and now they're red. The undertone is red. Like they're burnt off. Like I have a little bit of hair, but then underneath where the microbladed, it's like a tattoo was lasered off. And the red part is left. So the red part is going to get removed in like 7 weeks.
But it'll be red for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's red.
Well, right now it doesn't look that
Because
way.
I put a layer of foundation over my brows and then I put powder and then I put a little, you know, bronzer or something to give it a little
Skin color?
Because my foundation's a little
Light.
pale. Probably need to upgrade that. And then I drew on my new brows. Well, I drew them on the first time and they were a little wonky. So then what do? I have to start over. So
Did you watch a tutorial?
no, it took me a minute to figure out this
Okay.
concoction. Like I just kind of thought, well, I'm going to draw over the red. And then
Yeah.
I realized if I white them out, basically, and then I give myself more of a blank canvas.
But that's what a lot of people that I see on TikTok, that's what they do, and they have eyebrows. But they put foundation completely over them and make it look like they are bald. And then they start
Oh.
anew and they make their eyebrows look
Oh, so
how
I'm
they
ahe-
want.
I'm ahead of the
well.
curve.
Some people just do this anyway. So maybe you're just on the makeup trends. Also, I think you need to shout out the lift and snatch because you're
yeah.
still using it. And I can't describe how real they look.
My strokes.
Your strokes,
Yes.
your strokes are good.
Yeah, it's the brand is NYX.
NYX?
Is it called NYX or NYX? I have no idea.
I don't know because I think I always read that as NYC in my head,
Okay, well it's
even though it's an X.
NYX.
Yeah.
And lift and snatch is the brow like pen, and it creates these lifelike strokes. But you got to have a steady hand because when I first started, I was a little
Nervous.
shaky. But now I've gotten to where I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
Looks good.
so yeah, maybe there's a future for me
And is that
and
why the feeling of the day is?
brows. Ugly.
Yeah.
Well, we have our emotional barometer box, and I was just flipping through some of them. When I came across ugly, it resonated. And I was like, okay, we're going to do this. So I dedicate this feeling of the day to my brows. Feeling ugly isn't about looks. It's about how we see ourselves when we're down. Our mood distorts our reflection, making us focus on flaws that aren't really there.
Mm.
Even the most beautiful people feel this way. When that happens, we don't need a makeover. We need kindness, love, and perspective. And if we can't find that in ourselves, we can borrow it from someone who sees us clearly.
I love that you picked this. I think I've never seen these cards, so I never have read that and have looked at ugly as an actual emotion. But I do talk about, because I specialize in body image and eating disorders, is that when people see themselves in a mirror, they don't see what they look like, they see how they're feeling. So I love this. And a lot of times when we look in the mirror, we're like, oh, I need to lose weight, or I need to dye my hair, or I need a new wardrobe. When really it's what you're saying. It's, I need to go do something nice for myself. And then if I come back in like an hour, I might see something different.
Yeah,
It's
or
crazy.
try the dopamine dressing. Like instead of trying to force some outfit to make yourself fit into like a trend or whatever's happening, or a color you thought you wanted to wear, like go to your closet and get a go-to outfit that you feel good in, and put that on, and then go in the mirror and do, what do they call it? The superwoman pose. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you like stand in the mirror.
What is that called? Power pose.
Power pose. Superwoman power.
I like superwoman better.
Power. Sometimes
cheerleader pose.
Sometimes when I'm doing my meditation,
you thumbs up yourself.
No. Yeah. But you know how some people sit, and a lot of times I do, but I sit calmly with my palms up if I'm wanting to receive, and palms down if I'm wanting to feel grounded. And then other times I just stick my thumb straight in the air with my eyes closed, but I put my arms out really straight, and I'm trying to channel my thumbs out into the it's like a little antenna.
I thought you were trying to like give yourself a thumbs up.
No.
Oh,
I don't
you're trying
know
to receive
where I got
the
this,
waves.
But sometimes I do it, and I think that that's my body saying like, I need it. Like, I don't have it in me today, so like,
Lord, give it to me.
Lord, give it to me. Fill me up, give me the energy. And I picture it going, like I have a visualization of it going like through my thumb all the way down my arm into my body.
Did you learn that, or you just?
I don't know where I learned it.
Okay.
I certainly didn't come. I mean, I don't know if it was over time and different meditations that I've done. If maybe a random one on YouTube, someone's like, now stick your thumbs in the air. And
you're like, okay, I'll do anything.
I mean, they definitely didn't call it an antenna, or who knows, it could have been at a yoga class at one point, which part of this podcast flipping over from four things to feeling things is just the evolution of where we are and the direction my life is going, meeting you, having you as now a full-time host with me, and kind of what we want to share with others, and be like like come alongside people in their journey of growing and therapy and whatnot. And Kat had a podcast called You Need Therapy, and she has set that aside and is now here with us. So this is going to be like a mixture of what we were doing on Four Things and You Need Therapy. And so you'll see it. That's the plan now, but we may continue to evolve. But speaking of evolution, I was thinking back when I first started doing yoga way back in the day, like in Austin. I went to this one class where they had gongs and they were laying there, and then they served this little tea afterwards. And I'm like, I couldn't get the heck out of there fast enough.
But that was your first experience?
Yeah, because it was this yoga studio sort of close to my mom's house. So I decided to go, and I was terrified. Like I thought they had a gong. I remember even going on the Bobby Bone show the next day, and I'm like, I don't know where I went, guys, but it was crazy. Like we were laying down, and then we were kind of all breathing yoga? In unison. Yeah, we did a flow practice, but then between the gong and the Kool-Aid at the end.
You can't call it Kool-Aid.
Right. But that's what it felt like to me. And now I'd be like, sign me up. Like, where is this class? Can I get a membership?
Yes. Nobody uses gongs anymore.
I'm like, I want to breathe in unison.
Yeah.
Are we going to chant?
Because it probably felt very different. So you're like, this is weird. I got to get out. And now you've embraced so many different things.
So now I've evolved to where I stick my thumbs in the air and channel the energy. I've also evolved to where I'm doing face fitness in lieu of Botox.
Yeah.
I think the last time I got injected was six 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm
6 months sober.
6 months clean from Botox. And I
Which-
may go back to it. I'm not anti it at
Yeah.
all. Like if somebody wants to get it, but for me, I wanted to know my new baseline. And so for the last 3 months, so January, February, March,
Mhm.
I've been doing face fitness. The first 2 months I was doing free things on YouTube. The month of March, I was doing a paid course.
You dove right in.
And Kat thinks that I'm being conned.
Yeah. So we're going to go over a list of things that might indicate that you're being conned by somebody. And then we're going to keep your tally. And based on your score, we're going to vote. I'm going to vote.
So it's
If
like
your
my scam score.
scam score, we'll see if you got conned or not. But before we do that, I do want to say, I don't know if I've said this before, but you doing the no Botox is a big deal, I feel like, because I mean, I'll pat myself on the back too, because I'm doing it too. But I have been getting Botox for a couple years, and you get used to your face looking a certain way. And so stopping doing that, it is like you have to get used to that again. So I think it's a big deal that you're attempting this, even if you go back to it. It's just, hey, I want to make sure that this is something I still want to do.
Which I'll touch on the fact that the reason why I decided to get my brows lasered off, my microbladed brows, is because I stopped the Botox and my forehead changed. So if you happen to be listening for the first day, I've talked about this in previous episodes, but I'll just give you that tiny bit of information because you might be like, why would you get your brows microbladed and then have them lasered off?
Yeah.
Well, nobody tells you.
Nobody tells you.
When you go get them microbladed with Botox, that then when your forehead starts to shift because it's not frozen anymore, your brows can be wonky. And so that was happening to me. So I was like, I need a fresh start.
So thank you for spreading awareness to that. Because people might be like, oh, I'm going to stop this too. And then they're like, oh no, now.
But it may not all do. Like, just like everybody's forehead different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It depending on where your wrinkles are. Because mine didn't move because it was my 11 wasn't as now pronounced.
I can give you an exercise for that.
Okay, great. So did you get that from your?
Yeah, from so you take this hook and then you press, but you build it real good. And you can even do a vibrating sensation. And then you go all the way up. But you've got to really get deep into the muscle, into the.
So before we go into this list, can you tell me where you found this person? And like, does she have like a credential or
TikTok?
Got it.
Yeah, I think she has
she's an esthetician.
some sort of training in anatomy and kinesiology. I don't know where she received her letters, but she has a certificate, I'm sure.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but
Okay, before we get into this, let's talk about the difference between a certificate and a degree.
But she also has one of these cute little skeletons, and she knows all of the
bones.
Yeah, like she'll be like your muscle, and I'm like, oh. And then my friend Claire, I was telling her the other day, I was like, you want to massage this, and then Claire said that she goes, oh, the but muscle.
Claire is
I know she has degrees.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is Claire said it and it's the exact thing.
Oh, she confirmed it.
Which I don't know the reason why I don't know exactly how to say it is because she's foreign.
So you can say it in the foreign language.
But Claire said it and it sounded similar and I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
So she has an accent and her English isn't great. So sometimes she's like, what's this called? She's like, oh, your teeth. Or what's that? You need to pull your hair back with a hairband. Stuff like that.
So it's in English.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because when I was doing some free YouTube videos,
weren't doing it in
I was
English.
having to read the subtitle transcript.
Okay.
To know what to do, which was a lot of work because I was like trying to massage my face and read. I just want to be told. So she has who knows? Maybe she has 1 million something on TikTok. She has over 1 million on Instagram. She's on YouTube with millions of views. And then she has a course.
Okay.
So the course is what I signed up for. So con artist checklist.
Let's go through it. And I have a affinity for this type of stuff. As you know, I'm very skeptical
Of everybody.
But I learned
and
that
I'm
the
not.
I learned that the hard way though, because I wanted to trust everybody. And then I got really into things and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're lying. And I will say, I got a certificate for something back in the day. And as I'm getting the certificate, I was like, I could do this with my eyes closed. So I kind of learned that you have to be aware of what certificate somebody has, you know? Because I didn't learn anything in that course and I could have been doing all kinds of things.
Okay.
Anywho.
Yeah. I'll trust just about anybody.
Yeah.
So
Which,
this is, I mean,
I'm not better, that you're not worse. It's just different.
no, I mean, I feel like you're probably missing out on a lot of things. Which is back to Stashira's segment idea that she wanted, where she's like, Mom will fall for anything.
I probably am missing out on a lot. Okay, well, let's go through. This is just a little checklist of things that might signify that somebody is conning you or manipulating you.
Okay.
So I'm going to read them and you're going to tell me yes or no, does this fit?
Okay.
And if so, like maybe why. That cool?
Sure.
Okay. Does it seem too good to be true?
Yes.
And because?
Well, I mean, now that I think about it, but I think that I'm like, wow, you can really achieve these results by just massaging your face every day. Like, I guess at the end of the day, it does seem too good to be true.
Like she's over-promising.
But it still could be possible.
Okay, so it's not crazy. It's not like, we'll make you look like you're 7. It's like we could reverse we can make you look like you have Botox by just these 3 simple.
Right. This is where I struggle because I have I want to give this a go and I'm trying anything brain. And like, I think it's possible, but also could it be too good to be true? Yes.
Sure.
So I'm just answering honestly.
Okay.
Like at the end of the day, yes.
Okay. Are they promising guaranteed results with no risk?
No, they're not promising guaranteed results.
Okay.
Everybody's at different starting stages, she said, in different ages. And
okay. So she's okay.
mm-hmm.
Do they make you feel like you're broken or incomplete without using their thing that they're selling or the method?
No.
Okay.
Am I not getting conned?
So far, you're doing pretty good. Is there a sense of urgency or pressure to buy now or you're going to miss out on something?
Yes.
Okay. What's that? Well,
yes.
She said that it was sold out and you got on a wait list. And then all of a sudden you're in the class.
And then I got an email and it's like, oh, a spot opened up. It's all virtual, by the way. I don't know why it would fill up. You know what I mean?
Wait.
So yes.
That's true.
I know. But, you know, maybe she...
Good sales tactic?
Maybe she is making sure that her inbox doesn't get overloaded with questions from her current students.
Yeah. That probably is what it was. Yeah, that could be it.
But yes, there was definitely urgency. Like, get it now. And then the price slash.
Did you buy it before the price slashed?
Yes. But when you go, no, sorry. I bought it with the price slash.
But it's like, was it ever that much money?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because I never saw that page. But once I had access to the page, because she had to send you a special link, because now I'm special. So then I clicked on the link and it said, like $900. And then it had a big line through it. And it was like, now only $199.
You're like, what a deal. You're like, I just saved $700.
Wow, I was on a wait list. I made it in, and now I got the special link, and the special link, price? The price is slashed. So yeah,
that reminds me of infomercials growing up when they're like, call in next 5 minutes, and you can get this for like $4.99, and then you go to the grocery store and they're selling that same thing for that same price. It's like just to get you to buy it right then. Smart business.
Whenever I think of an infomercial, did you ever see that one way back in the day with that guy that had the nut chopper and then he would be chopping the nuts and it'd be late at night? I feel like my mom and I don't know what we'd be watching late at night, but he would always come on and it'd be like,
did you ever buy anything from it?
Oh yeah, my mom loved to buy stuff like that. And so did I.
This is your mom.
Yeah, and he'd be like, you're going to love my nuts. And he would be chopping it. And
wait, this is also a perfect example of how you learn things from your environment. And so you are a product of your environment.
Right.
Now we don't have infomercials. We have TikTok scammers. Okay. Do they call themselves things like face healer or ageless oracle, or just do they call it themselves any kind of like self-proclaimed guru?
No.
What
but
does
she
call herself?
definitely says that other methods, like if you're doing it this way, you're doing it wrong. But then I've seen other people say this is
same
how
thing?
to do it. So, but she doesn't have like a special guru name.
But does she have, like, what are her like credentials?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know what's in her Instagram bio, and I don't know that that's even
Well, so this
real.
goes to the,
Because I don't know if she's real. Honestly, sometimes I'm like, is this AI?
I think what gets a lot of people now is anybody can call themselves any kind of like holistic coach or this type of healer or this whatever. And it sounds really fancy, but it's also something they just made up. Like you could call yourself anything. I could call myself anything and it could sound really good versus somebody who's really doing that's probably just like an esthetician, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they constantly posting testimonials that sound a little too dramatic?
Yeah. I mean, some of the results are pretty dramatic. So I feel like either they cherry pick, like this was a good success story, so I'm going to highlight this, or it's being photoshopped or something. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Or it's AI, the whole thing.
Well, no, other people have joined because I see them, I think. I think.
You're like, I have a whole group of friends in my fitness Facebook group.
I think.
Okay. Are they avoiding transparency about what actually is involved?
No, I
like,
feel
do you
like
have to?
they're pretty transparent. However, I don't know how they have the time in the day. Like what has been required of me the last 30 days. We don't have this time. Like
I thought it was just 7 minutes a day.
No. The lesson is 30 minutes. Ish. She said she tries to keep the lessons at 20, but they always go over. So let's just call it what it is. They're 30. Then, but before you start the 30-minute, you have to do a 2-minute lymphatic drainage exercise, which opens up your lymphs. And so that's 2 minutes. So now we're at 32. Then if you want good results, she highly recommends the bonus exercises after that. And so I'm like,
that's every day.
I'm supposed to do this on top of, go on a walk in the forest with the trees.
Is that part of it?
No,
or you just
but
like to do
that's
that?
just another thing that I like to do because I
good for you.
I want to be with nature and I want to have that hit of dopamine.
Can you do your drainage while you're on your walk?
Yeah, but you want to do your drainage right before you do your face fitness.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do they discourage you from doing other things that could help?
I haven't caught on to that yet. If she has,
okay.
Like, I don't think she said like, don't do gua sha. Now she says like, if you want to do gua sha or if you want to put the oil on, she goes, but I don't think you need any of that. But a lot of people are like, oh, I love the oil and the gua sha. But she's like, there's a time and a place for that.
Okay. And then are they trying to become like your go-to person, like for that? So it could be like your friend. It could be like your like, mentor, are they trying to become something?
I mean, I guess sometimes when she says stuff like that of like, okay, if you want to do that, but like that's not good. You need to do what I'm doing. So,
and then I also want to add, this is online, but if you wanted to like meet this person in person.
I don't know where. I don't even know where in the world she is. Like where in the world does she reside? I think I saw something the other day on TikTok about Miami, but then, TikTok's weird. Like I couldn't figure out that video because I don't even think it was her that posted it. People repost other people's things. So I don't know.
Okay. So your test is done. And I'm going to be honest. You might not be getting scammed.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, then I'm just getting scammed on time because I just completed the 30 days and we get an email this morning like, congratulations, you completed the 30 days. And now for the next 30 days.
She wants you to sign up for something else?
No, this is included.
Oh.
This is included, a gift from her.
She's giving you a gift.
The gift is for the next 30 days, repeat it. The entire thing from day 1 to day 30, because now your hands are stronger. You know the techniques, so you can do it better. And I'm like, wait a second.
Wait.
I have to do it again?
Well, you're going to have to do it for the rest of your life,
where's
right?
my certificate? I just completed my 30 days. Like, I want to.
You should be able to teach it now.
Yeah, but she said we won't graduate until we do it again.
Oh.
And then maybe our
So-
body will be ready. And what I have learned, let me tell you, Kat, let me tell you, a lot of our wrinkles and what we're dealing with, or sagging things in the front part of our skull, which would be our face. That's what we see, right?
Yeah.
But we have the part we don't see, which is the back of our
Oh.
skull, where our skull meets our neck, the top of our
So you have to face fitness
hairline
that.
here, our neck, our shoulders. We spend more time massaging our trapezius, our like all these things that you don't see. We spend so much time, and that's why she said your hands are stronger, because some of the massages you really have to get in there, and like your biceps are tired, and like your arms are up. We do all these like other things and these stretches, and sometimes a 30-minute workout, we won't even have touched our face. And then I feel like that's a waste, but she says it's not, because everything is playing a part. And
I
when
can see that.
it's when we're relaxed back here, this falls into place. When we're tight here, this sags.
I could see that.
So I'm
But-
not getting scammed.
Well, you're not.
You're on board. In
you
fact,
could be-
I will send you the 30 days for just
$100.
I'll give you a deal. 99.
Can I get a special link?
Yes. Yes.
I also think that you kind of reversed your answer on some of these things. Like you said it, she hasn't promised, does it seem too good to be true? And then you said that she is making you do a double 30 days.
Yeah.
Like she's making it seem like it's something that's not. She wants it probably to be like, oh, buy this.
I'm just saying the results
Oh.
sometimes seem too good to be true. Like when I'm
Yeah.
looking at other people's results, I'm like, is this
Not-
for real?
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah.
too good to be true. Like we don't have the time. Like but what? It is too good to be true. Nobody has time for this.
But also, this is, I think, a key that I don't know if this is happening or not. When you are getting scammed, there's usually always like, what's next? Like she's making you do this thing again, but it doesn't sound like she's charging you more money.
No, it's a gift.
Okay.
But I feel like that means
Here's a free gift, so then you'll buy this other thing.
right 30 days from now, it'll be like, remember that free gift I gave you?
You owe me.
Yeah.
And then you're going to feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing I would have people look out for. If there is always something else and it keeps going and you need them, if somebody's not a scammer, they're going to teach you the thing and then they're going to let you go be free on your own versus like, I need you to stay with me and stay in my tribe. Culty vibes, you know?
Right. If I pack my bags and move to wherever
You're like,
in the world,
the next
Then,
step is in person and I have to go meet her this plane ticket to I don't know where. And you just show up.
yeah.
Okay.
I will say my shoulders are more relaxed and my posture is a little bit
Well,
better.
I
so
feel
we'll
like-
see. But I will say this checklist is good for anybody that's, when you're following certain people on Instagram, it could be just influencers that you follow and they're talking about a particular product. And now the spectrum it's all over the place. But there is one particular girl I started to follow a couple of months ago, and I may unfollow because I've started to realize I get hooked every single time because I think she's really good about that too good to be true hook, and she gets me. And like one thing, she's into face fitness, and I guess probably a lot of people that pop up in my account now are face fitness because the algorithm, that's all it feeds me. So I won't even pin this directly on her, but so many people are like, I canceled my plastic surgery appointment, which who knows what her plastic surgery appointment was. Was it for Botox? Because you can get Botox at the plastic surgeon's office. So I don't know if she's claiming she's about to go get a facelift or something, but she said that was her hook. It's like, oh, someone canceled an appointment because of this? I'm going to pause and watch. And then, she does like a little temple massage here and like a nasal, and then it's like, oh, that's all you do every day for 3 minutes, and you were able to cancel your appointment at the doctor for whatever it is you wanted to change. But that's an example of one thing that I've seen, and then they're good at in anything they're trying to pitch, whether it's that
You learn a
or
skill.
a product or whatever. And some people that's their gift. Like they are really, really good at it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and
You just
then-
have to be aware. And I think it's a different if it is taking resources away from you that you actually don't have, that's one thing. Like this is kind of harmless. I mean, besides the time.
right. It's
But if you
harmless
had to sell your house because you had to afford this fitness course,
right.
that is you're being scammed, and also we need to help you in
Yeah.
other ways.
Okay, well, I think you concluded I'm currently not getting
Yeah.
scammed at the moment. So, yay, we can high five on
High
that
five.
and then move on to core emotions. And this will
Yeah.
be core emotions part 1.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
I love talking about feelings, first of all, so I could do this all day long. But I wanted to start, I think we both wanted to start with feelings because we're going to be, obviously, it's feelings things. We're going to be talking about them all the time and relating things back and learning how to identify my own feelings and learning how to like sit in my own feelings has transformed, I think, my relationships in my life in general because we're getting these gifts. So I like to describe feelings as guides or tools. So they're not good or bad. They're not right or wrong. If once you see this list, you're going to look at it and you're going to say, Catherine, there's only one good one. They're all um, the same. They
They're
all
not
have,
good or bad.
yeah,
They all have an offering.
they all have an offering and they all have an impairment if you choose not to feel them. And the visual I like to give people is feelings are very similar to the lights on the dashboard of your car. So if you're driving down the road, and this resonates with me a lot because I get so frustrated and I feel so inconvenienced when a light pops up. So I'm driving down the road and maybe my check engine or my change your oil light or something pops up on my car. All that is doing is saying, hey, there's something that you need to go look at or check or pay attention to. So it's a tool, right? It's a guide that's leading you to what your car needs. Yes, if I have to change my oil, probably inconvenient. It might like, I don't know, if I'm on a road trip, set me back an hour. However, if I don't get that oil changed and my oil is gone, pecan, guess what? My car is going to blow up and I'm not going to ever get to where I'm going, which I have had my car stop in the middle of the road one time because I had no oil and it was so inconvenient. And it led me from, I was in a rush and I wanted to get to my full day of work. I didn't want to be late for my clients. And then because I didn't just get my oil changed when I should have, I actually missed that whole day of work. So you're going to be forced to pay attention to it one way or another. Feelings are the same way. So you have a feeling, it's just signaling, hey, there's something that you need to pay attention to, that you want to look at, that you just want to like care for. Could be inconvenient, but also if you pay attention to it, you might get something that you're missing or needing.
I think one thing to keep in mind too is people that grew up in a really dysfunctional environment, they learned not to feel. And so there's a lot of us walking around, and not me, I just mean humans, that don't even know how to feel. And I guess I say not me because I don't like to put my home as like dysfunctional, but everybody had their own dysfunction. And I do think that my parents were emotionally unavailable.
Dysfunctional doesn't always mean like
Right. Like
negative
yes.
and bad. It's really, honestly, we're all
Yeah.
paying attention. There's dysfunction in every system.
Right. And that's why I had to rewind
Yeah.
and sort of stop myself because I'm like, a lot of us walking around because dysfunction, I'm like, not me. But then I was like, shoot, I don't want to discount that. Yeah, there was some dysfunction in my home. And I, as a parent, have created some dysfunction for my kids. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad parent or my parents were bad. Now, some people grew up in an environment where, yeah, you'd probably classify their upbringing as like, oh, that was really rough. I had loving parents. They loved the best that they could, but they also were very shut down themselves. So that's something I'm trying to undo, that generational trauma, like whatever they had from their parents, they were just doing the best that they could. And I'm trying to offer my kids all the space to feel. And we want to feel all the things and ask all the questions and dive in. And I'm excited about doing this for people that maybe are like me in their 40s, where they're trying to figure some stuff out that they didn't have access to early on.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it is important to note that when we are in our dysfunction, most of the time it's coming from a good place. I'm doing what I know, I'm doing what I'm taught, doing what I think is right. And specifically with feelings, because a lot of them are uncomfortable to feel, steering somebody away from them probably feels like sometimes the right thing to do. And then another thing to note is that because feelings signify a need, that's why a lot of us shut them down, because I don't want to have to need something, because sometimes we're taught that we don't need to be needy or we don't need to draw attention to ourselves.
Especially women.
So we shut those down and we're like, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. When really that's going to come out a different way. These feelings are also like energy. So if I'm going to shut it down, I have to put that energy somewhere in my body. And to do that, I'm going to have to displace something else. So something's going to come out, and then that energy is still down there. And eventually you're going to have to get that out because you're going to have something else to put there.
But it's going to be way more of an inconvenience, sort of like when you break down on the side of the road, if you would have just addressed it early on.
Yes. And I say all this too. I am a therapist who goes to therapy myself, and I'm not perfect at this stuff. So when I talk about this stuff or teach it, it's also reminders for me. And anybody who's listening, I would just want you to give yourself a lot of grace, because as you'll hear in some of the stories we tell, I still get stuck in this stuff as well because of just the way our world is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll especially get into that when we talk about hurt.
Yeah.
But we're going to start with feeling one, which is lonely.
Yes. And I do want to shout out these little worksheets that we made. So we made our own feeling wheel that specifically talks about these 8 emotions. And these feelings are not like I said in the beginning, the right feelings. They're just the ones that I use. And you look like, here we are.
Exhibit A. But these are something that people can have access to for a limited time. Just kidding.
If you sign up in the next 30 seconds.
There's a wait list to get these. And we'll send you a special link, and then you can download them.
Give us your bank account number.
No, really. We should do a little thing. I mean, we're not going to, but what if we did a thing where it's like, this was $500 and we put a red line through it and we're like, $0. Now it's $0. All you have to do is sign up for our newsletter.
We really should do that. I feel like that'd be funny.
I feel like an inside joke. Yeah. If people even made it to this point in the podcast.
They're like, what? Who would buy that for $500? Like literally nobody.
Right. But really, if you sign up for our newsletter, you will get the feelings wheel, the gifts of feelings, which is another wheel chart situation, and then sort of this flow chart, which I think is great, which really breaks down the gifts that you'll get from each feeling, and then the impairment.
Yeah.
You want the impairment and the need.
Yeah.
And the need, which is so helpful, because we'll have to get in this another time, but I was on a phone call with my boyfriend today, and I'm realizing I don't know how to express my needs well, because part of it feels selfish. Yeah. So that's all I'll say about that. So something I'm working on too. And Kat's the expert. She's the therapist. But I love that you said I'm a therapist that also goes to therapy, because I'd like to say I'm a normal everyday human that's not a therapist that also goes to therapy.
Yeah.
We're the same.
Yeah, we're the same.
We're the same.
Oh, and I will say with the need, that's like a jumping off point, because sometimes that's not always the exact need. So I would take that as like I would take it with a grain of salt, I guess, where this could be it, or it could be a version of this, but it does help you start thinking about what it is. I don't want people to get too stuck on that part, because sometimes I might be like, that doesn't fit. Okay. So do you want to just get into it?
Yeah. Lonely.
Okay. We're going to,
Feeling one.
So we're starting with lonely. That core need is to be known. And so that can be a version of a lot of different things. Like being known can mean different things to different people. I might just want my friend to see me. I might want maybe there was an event, or you know what? I'll just get into this. I feel like in the situation we had, I was feeling a little lonely because I wanted to be more a part of the production that we were creating. And so I felt like you were over there and I was over here. And I just wanted you to know more about what I could offer.
Oh, and that was lonely for you.
Yeah.
And we'll get into more of in the weeds of that when we talk about the feeling of hurt. When I think of lonely, I think of a time when we first adopted the kids, or I was going through certain things in my marriage where I didn't have community around that, because these were situations that I had never encountered before. And I kind of felt like I was the only one. I didn't know there were groups of people that would meet and gather. I'm like, shoot, what have I not said over the years? Because it's not just my story. So there's
Yeah.
things that I went through that are involving other people, and it's their story too. So that's why I'm careful with details and
Mhm.
what I say and what I don't say. But what I can say about that is I spent a lot of time alone in my closet crying. And that was before I found community
Yeah.
in what I was going through in both situations. So as
Yeah.
an adopted mom and as a wife,
Mhm.
there were things. And once I found community on the internet,
Okay. You weren't
uh,
scammed there.
first
Yeah.
through Facebook,
Yeah.
but then I was like, oh, this is a group. And then, that was a group where you had to get invited in. So I was all nervous.
You got a
And I'm
special
like,
link.
I got in, but then once I got in, and then I did meet them in person. So I realized there was a group of moms that were gathering right here in Nashville where it was a very safe space and
Mhm.
you could say anything and there was no judgment. And then in my marriage, I found another group where I got to go meet. And I'm like, oh, and that gave me tools to get through that.
And
Something
people saw you. You felt like there's a
I
different
felt
version.
seen and
Yeah.
heard. Like I was like, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And then now I'm still involved in those things. But now when I was calling some of those women feeling lost and alone and like, can you help me?
Mhm.
It's like now periodically I get a text or an email or phone call from other people that are like, hey, my friend is going through this right now. Can I give her your number? Or
Mhm.
can this, you know, my coworker's cousin is going through this. Can you, I
Yeah.
mean, that's how distant, that's how desperate sometimes people are to find people that understand what they're going through,
Mhm.
because sometimes you just don't know anybody. And it takes reaching out and asking others, hey, do you know anybody? And then they
Mhm.
might be like, oh yeah, my neighbor's cousin's sister's father-in-law's stepdaughter is exactly who you can call.
Here's her
Let me
number.
reach out to her. And so now I'm on the receiving end of that, where I was the one seeking that out and people were there for me. I'm able to
Mhm.
now be like, oh, hey, here's what we did.
Mhm.
This is what I can say. Can't say for sure that it will work for you, but this is
Yeah.
a starting point. And then hopefully they feel less alone.
Yeah.
And so that was the part where I felt very lonely. And then once I found the community, but it took me being proactive.
Well, it took you acknowledging and allowing yourself to feel the feeling. So
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't allow yourself to feel lonely, that impairment would lead you to be apathetic. It would lead you to have distance. You wouldn't have as close of relationships. I think that would even affect your relationships that you already had.
Oh, for
You
sure.
would keep pulling back because you would keep feeling like different or people didn't understand, or you just would want to keep shutting yourself down. And the only way to do that is to not be face to face with what you don't have. And then by feeling the feeling, didn't feel very good. I'm sure those moments in your closet were excruciating, but that led you to intimacy and connection,
Boom.
which I
That's
think
the
is
gift.
that's the gift. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We
Okay.
want the gift. Intimacy and connection with a little bow on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, so are we good?
Yeah.
Feeling one, check.
Feeling one, check. We could do a whole episode probably on each of these, but lonely specifically, we really could. So
Especially since, I just say that already? Because in my brain, did I say that out loud twice?
maybe I
Especially
said
since, especially since,
now you said it
especially
5
since,
times.
your CD's not skipping. Uh, well, since the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
loneliness has been an epidemic of
Yeah.
sorts.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we could spend a lot of time on it, but we can move on to
Yeah.
feeling two,
We'll come back.
which will be hurt,
Yeah.
which is where Kat's going to share how I hurt her.
I felt hurt.
But I
You didn't do it to
Mhm.
me.
I didn't do
I
it to
think-
you, and I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was doing it.
So I like to say that nobody can make you feel anything.
That's right.
So
So
I've
it's feelings 101.
right. And the reason I believe that is because the same thing could have happened to 10 other people and not everybody would have felt the same thing. It's what is happening in the world is hitting my story and my stuff, and then I feel something about it. So not trying to invalidate what I was feeling. I'm just really trying to, that's helpful when you confront somebody about it, where I'm not like, you did this to me. It's, I felt this. So hurt, that need is a lot of times just simply attention to whatever it is came up. And I'll share the story, but first I'll share the impairment and the gift. So if you are unaware and you don't let yourself actually acknowledge hurt, which I think we do a lot, because when our feelings are hurt, I feel like people make that sound like weak or you're being dramatic or get over it. Like, That's the whole like pull yourself up by your bootstraps and like keep going. Like, oh, if it's not broken, keep going kind of thing. And so when we're unaware, that really leads to resentment. And what I do most of the time is I become passive aggressive or I like stonewall people. I'll cut people out without even realizing it. So we don't want that. However, if you
No, we don't, especially since we just launched the podcast.
We can't be having that. And then
but our friendship is more important to me than the podcast. So there's that. Yeah.
And if you are aware, it leads to healing, which obviously feels good. And it helps build courage. So the more I can actually confront somebody about an experience I had, the more courage I have to do that because it is hard. It's vulnerable. You don't know how somebody's going to respond.
And I feel like sometimes in a romantic relationship, when we decide to actually let someone in and share a feeling or what we are feeling, I think it's important to say, I am feeling this way, not to your partner. A lot of times in relationships, you can be like, well, you made me feel this way. So I'm glad you clarified that nobody can make you feel a certain way. But there is this fear of if there's not healthy communication, that your feelings won't be valid, that it'll be met with you're being dramatic.
Yeah.
Or you're overreacting.
Which that can happen. And I get there are people that you confront and there's people that you don't. If you know somebody is going to probably not be receptive and you've already been through this, then there's more of a boundary of, okay, I need to find healing, but that healing might not always come from the person that I felt the hurt with.
So do you think that that's the case even if you're in a romantic relationship with someone?
Well, if you're in a romantic relationship with somebody, I would say, let's talk about it. And if they are not able to validate your feelings consistently over and over and over again, then maybe you are not in a healthy relationship and you want to evaluate, do I want to still be in this? I think there's some people we can't avoid, like a boss or like my parents or just somebody who's in your life that you, for one reason or another, you can't it's not that easy to end that relationship. So evaluate that because you don't want to then put yourself in a position where that's going to feel even worse, or that's going to kind of dig deeper a story you already have in your head.
Okay, so that's that. Just the side note of healing doesn't have to come from the person that hurt you.
Yeah.
Okay. And in our case, we were able to resolve it pretty quickly, which I think was a good thing to experience early on in this endeavor because it was related to episode 1, this very episode, except for you're not listening to the original episode that we did because we already recorded an entire episode 1 and it is trashed. It's actually literally in the trash. Kat's trash box on her computer. Yeah. It's in the trash, which is for the better.
Yeah. Do you want to share what happened to it?
Well, so okay.
You share your part. I'll share my part.
So I woke up 2 days after we recorded it. So we recorded it because we were trying to get way ahead because, we have video now of everything. Shout out. Go to our Instagram.
At Feelings Things Podcast.
Yeah, we're only 5 years behind on that. But we're going to consistently have video. I've dabbled in that with 4 Things a little bit, but this is just part of our big girl pants now. And we filmed it, recorded it, and with social stuff, we were trying to get way ahead of schedule. And so I woke up 2 days after we recorded it. And I just had this feeling. It's almost like I woke up even in the middle of the night of like something was off. I didn't like the way we did it. I didn't like the vibe. I didn't like the energy. I know that it's okay if we have a niche and we're leaning more therapy. And in the first episode, I was very clear on that this wasn't a therapy podcast. In fact, it was in our original podcast description. Kat's a therapist, and it's like, this isn't a therapy podcast. Like, I felt the need to say that. Kat's a therapist. She had a podcast for years, a successful podcast that a lot of people love called You Need Therapy. And then she's setting that aside to come join me, which was something you wanted to do too. But we're joining together. And here I am being like, this isn't a therapy podcast, just so that everybody knows over and over. And I think you were sitting there thinking like, why does she keep saying this so much? Like, this is like a sort of a slap to my face of like, I'm a therapist and I have a lot to offer and I would like for this to lean therapy. Well, I knew we may lean therapy, but some reviews or comments that I've seen about me over the last 4 years or so, DMs, comments on my Instagram, reviews of the podcast, like on iTunes, oh, this is leaning way too therapy for me, or Amy's just too therapy. I can't listen to her anymore.
Mean stuff.
Which I've evolved.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, maybe I am leaning that way because of things that I'm learning and that I find interesting and stuff I have going on in my life. I just want to share. Like, I'm not claiming to be the expert or anything. It just can be maybe like come alongside other people that are going through things. And when I read that about me, I thought, well, shoot, I don't want to be put in that box. So bringing you on as a therapist, I think I had this, well, like it wasn't awareness of it, but maybe just somewhere in my subconscious of like, oh, Kat's a therapist. So I need to make sure that people know this isn't going to be a therapy podcast because then they're going to say more bad things about me. So it was my own fear. And so I woke up 2 days after we recorded and I'm like, why am I worried about what Eeny, Meeny, Miny, and Mo have said on iTunes reviews about me and how I am as a person now? And if they can't listen, that's fine. If they don't want to listen, that's okay. There are other people that may want this type of content. So we are a therapy podcast-ish.
Mental health minded.
Kat gave me that. We are mental health minded. So we're mental health minded. Kat's a therapist. I don't even need to reiterate over and over how we're not a therapy podcast because who cares? We're just going to be what we are and see where it goes. And some episodes may lean more therapy. Some episodes may not. And we've got our Couch Talks episodes on Thursday where people are going to be writing in. And it may be questions they might ask a therapist or a friend, which sometimes your conversations with a friend is like therapy. So I just woke up with this feeling of we need to redo this. I feel bad that I made it that way. And it's okay to have a niche. And our niche is this. And screw anybody else who doesn't like it or something like that. So then I called you and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about this. And you were literally on your way to therapy. I know. To just like rip me a new one with your therapist. And you're in the car and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you called and you're saying all this right now. Because you were like, I've been trying to process how I'm going to talk through this with my therapist so I can figure out what I need from this. Because you left that recording like, what am I even doing here? But I didn't know you felt that way. And so by saying over and over, this isn't a therapy podcast, that was hurting you. And so I'm sorry for that.
Thank you. So
that's my perspective.
Yeah. And well, I think most of what you said is what happened. So we recorded this episode. I kept hearing it's not a therapy podcast over and over and over again. And I think you didn't realize how much you were saying it. And I clocked it every single time. So I actually was really fearful and anxious that day recording because I didn't know how to be. Because I was worried if I feel today, I can talk as much as I want or as little as I want. I can share whatever I want. I can add things. But I was trying to like stay inside these imaginary bounds that had been created because we weren't a therapy podcast. But I also was trying to, and I talked to this about with my therapist before too, I have to maintain some professional boundaries for myself as well, because I want people who either, if you are my client, I want you to be able to listen to this just like you could listen to You Need Therapy. And I want to be congruent with how I show up as a therapist and how I show up here because this is public. And so I was like, I feel like a dud. Like I can't be fun and I can't be smart, or I can't be like, I didn't know how to be.
Well,
So
that one comment, isn't that interesting? Me saying that over and over dimmed your light.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing I would want to do is dim your light. But it was my own insecurity of worrying about whomever.
Well, I also heard a lot of stuff that you said, and I filtered a lot of stuff. Like when I was like going back and recounting the conversation, I think I exaggerated things that happened because I was hearing them through. This is not a therapy podcast. So whenever you would like stop me, I was like, oh my God, I did something wrong.
Right.
Like I felt a lot of emotions. So it wasn't just, as you can see, you're feeling multiple emotions at once, not just one. So I was going to go to my therapist. Well, and the next day was your birthday. So I was like, well, I'm not going to talk about it with her. And I also had this feeling that I didn't like, that I was like, does she think I'm stupid? Like, does she not?
No.
I felt like, does she not respect me? And that all started coming up. And I was like, why is this bothering me so much? So I knew I needed to process it. I knew that I didn't want to talk about it on your birthday, But after your birthday party, I came home and I said to Patrick, I said, Amy's such a good friend. And it's because I was seeing you in a different light too. It was like, this was not about work. And I was like, she does like me and think this about me and think this about me. So what was going on in me that I saw everything she was saying and doing through this filter and through this lens? So I knew part of it was my own stuff. But still, that was the timing was so weird because I even walked into my therapist's office and I said, okay, I don't really know what my angle is now today because I was going to talk about this, but now I need to talk about this. And honestly, I was thinking about this today too, when I was driving to work. That experience was very helpful, I think, for our relationship. There was healing, but also, why does this make me emotional? I think that it allowed me to open up a place that I need healing in my own life too. And again, they're being hurt doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It almost is like you showed me a spot that I need to go back and address because I realized that a lot of my life, I have survived on being smart. And that's what I offered. Like, that's what I was versus I was other things, but that was like what I was like, well, if I have this, I'm okay. And I went back and I started talking about all the things that I wish I would have done as a kid. I was like, and I want to do these things and I want to do these things. And one of them was like an improv class. And I was like, Amy's been trying to get me to do an improv class. Like, she's trying to heal this part of me and I don't even know it. So it was very cool for me to be able to take that experience, really sit with it, use it as a tool. What is it that I need? There are things that I need that I had no idea I was still feeling pain from that had nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's the beauty of the experience. That's the gift of allowing yourself to feel the emotion. And also us feeling safe enough to come to each other and both want to hear what the other person has to say. Like, I called you and woke up with this epiphany and I shared it. And then you were able to finally say, especially because you didn't want to bring it up on my birthday, like, okay, well, you're not going to believe this, but I'm about to go into my therapist. And you were able to share with me exactly. And I held space for that.
You were really good at listening.
Which if I wasn't in a healthy place, who knows?
Yeah.
Like, if I could have held space for that, if I had a different filter that then I was taking what you were saying through. And that's what I think can happen when there's big disconnects in relationships. It's like everyone has their filter and it's like nobody's feeling seen or heard. And it's like, oh, and so I was very thankful that we were able to come to a resolution and heal that in such a timely manner. And I think that was a gift for us, especially starting this out because it's episode 1.
And it's a gift for everybody else too. That episode wasn't good.
It wasn't good. Like, let's be honest. Like, it was pretty terrible.
It's not good.
Like, people probably unsubscribed. So I think we were both just not ourselves because I was too busy trying to fit a mold that I think listeners would want of me.
Yeah.
And then trying to force you into that when you're like, hello.
Yeah.
I'm Kat and
I am. Like, that's part of who I am.
Went to grad school.
Don't tell anybody. It's not a therapy podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Kidding.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, we're over that.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the whatever you need it to be podcast.
So, well, yeah. But we do have a niche.
But we have a niche.
Yeah.
It's feelings and therapy.
But there's so many gifts in that. I think I'm glad that happened because of the things that I'm gaining in my own life, the things that we're able to gain from each other. Like, we're learning about each other in that.
Well, something else you said to me that stood out of like, you're like, I'm also trying to figure out, like, I always have the need to be right. And you were able to say, this is even an issue in my own marriage of like that I always have to be right. And so I just wanted to hype up your awareness and be like, okay, yes, when you have awareness, it's so beautiful. It can suck because you're like, oh,
I hate that part of me.
I am this way and people have to put up with me being this way, but you can work on it.
Yeah.
And
when having
I can work on it.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying you.
You can work on this part of you.
Because you're not always right, Kat.
I'm really not. And I am glad you said that because I forgot that was one of the things I was going to go in and talk about of I need to be better at knowing when I really am in the right and when I am being stubborn and when I'm just used to people listening to me. Because I work I work for myself. So I haven't had a boss since I was 26. So I'm in this new partnership and I'm like, dang it, am I not good at working with people? And I'm married to somebody who's very agreeable. So I want there to be space for his voice. And so this was another opportunity for me to feel like, what does it feel like when I really do feel like this is something that has happened? And what does it feel like when I'm just my ego's taking over?
Ugh, ego.
You know? Yeah. We all have it, even though we don't want it. We need it to survive. But yeah, I like to say self-awareness really is knowing that there's so much stuff that you don't know.
Yes.
So the more self-awareness I have, the more I know that like I need a lot of help, which we'll get to because that's part of another feeling.
Yeah. And you can find all the help you need here because we're a therapy podcast. Just kidding.
You've gone from one side of the spectrum to the other.
I know, but now I'm being, I'm joking.
You're being silly.
We just are who we are.
Yeah.
And you are a therapist. And I'm trying to figure out here what do you think on time? Because I feel like should we keep going through the other two or should we stop with hurt and then
pick back up
next week with fear? Yeah.
We'll do two at a time, maybe 2 or 3.
Maybe. Yeah. Let's do that because we've got stories. Because with fear, I feel like I have a whole story about my boyfriend.
Okay.
And we can get into that.
Cliffhanger. And tune in next time for the story about her boyfriend.
We call it tease.
That is what we call tease.
Subscribe, follow.
If you subscribe, we'll send you the special episode about Amy's fear
For
free, and it's worth $1,000.
Yeah, we'll give you all the details, which really doesn't matter. But I want to share it because it does matter. Why do we say things that sometimes we don't mean? It does matter.
Yeah.
I think it's important when you recognize a fear because that's one, if you set aside, you will miss out on life. You will miss out on something. And it could be unexpectedly fabulous.
And fear we're getting into it. Fear does not mean stop all the time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So let's pause.
Let's pause.
Because I'm going to get ahead of myself.
Okay. So fear coming up next Tuesday. It'll
Stay tuned.
Be one of our core feelings. And then feeling 4, which we get into that next week with fear, is a little weird to me. It's glad. I know it's a core feeling, glad. But I don't know that I spend too much time with the word glad. So I'm glad we are
It is like an old
it.
person word, I feel like. It's like gladness feels like it's from the 1920s or something, you know? Like who says I'm glad?
Well, I say it when I'm glad about that. But I don't ever be like, I feel glad.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into it. And
I can't wait to feel more glad.
I will say with the feelings wheel, when you guys see it, which I don't know did we say that we're sending it to them? We did say that. We weren't kidding about that. We really will send it to you.
All you have to do is sign up for the newsletter. There's no tricks.
Yeah. And we'll send you all those things. But you'll see that there's 8 core, and then outside of the core feelings, they're what I like to call shades of the feelings. So with glad, there's so many. That's the wrong one. That's gifts.
Oh, these are gifts. So
that one.
Yeah. Feelings.
So if you look at glad, there's different shades of gladness. So you could use different, what are other words on there?
For glad.
Yeah.
Excited, encouraged, happy, content, satisfaction, optimistic. That's a different shade of yellow though. And then an even lighter shade of it would be.
I didn't organize them in the shades though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and that's not an all-encompassing. Those are just other words you could use because sometimes it's hard to come up with the word and it's helpful to look at that. But even with like anger and fear and all of those, sometimes anger and fear and those words feel too heavy. But that's why we have all these different shades of it's still the same core root.
Right.
But might be a more palatable or more fitting word.
Okay. So I think since we spent some time on hurt, we can wrap up with that one because I think it's a good way to look at it. Like, although, dang, you just flat out were feeling hurt.
Yeah.
Like you got straight to that core. But the lighter shade of green is offended. I was sort of sometimes discounting all your hard work. Disappointed because you're like, wait, I just left this and I came and I'm doing this with you and now I don't even know my role, which also could feel rejected is under there. So then you're feeling rejected because I'm shutting you out. Shocked because you're like, what? What happened? That's another one. So under hurt, it's despair, shock, betrayed, rejected, offended, disappointed, pain. And then you were having your own pain. So yeah.
So that those words might just be more helpful if the other ones don't.
Yeah. I love
encompass
the
it.
feelings wheel. You
I
did a
know.
great job, Kat.
Thank you.
So good.
Thanks.
So feeling things with Amy
Yeah.
and Kat. We have our own wheel. We have our gifts of feelings, and then the feelings, the feeling flow chart, which I love. Like this, I'm going to use in my everyday life. Things in my relationship, things with my kids,
Mhm.
where there's 4 columns: impairment, feeling, need, and gift. And
Mhm.
I'm going to be referencing this all the time.
And I do have to shout this out because copyright. The majority of this comes from this feelings flowchart comes from Chip Dodds, the voice of the heart, and he also uses those same 8 core feelings, so it aligns really well. So I don't want anybody to think that I created that I have adapted from other people's work.
Yeah, you noted it on the PDF.
I didn't.
So
I didn't want to get sued.
when it is downloaded, when you sign up for the newsletter and then you get these files, it said, this chart was adapted from Chip Dodds, the voice of the heart. And then shout out Lindsay Gibson.
For her.
She has adult children of emotionally immature parents. That is me.
I have the book in my bag.
That is me.
That book is really good to just help understand why we don't feel these feelings as easily as we want.
Yeah, this is good stuff. What I'm saying is you're going to want to sign up for our newsletter because if anything, you're just going to get this. And this is going to be something you can reference. Or, you can hit up, I'm sure Chip has it somewhere too.
Yeah.
But is this color coordinated?
That's pretty. The colors are pretty.
Because Kat color coordinated it. So, I guess that's it. That's a wrap on episode 1. I mean, we encourage y'all to, follow us on socials. Feeling Things Podcast is the handle. Feeling Things Podcast. There's other Feeling Things accounts. We're the podcast one, and when you'll see my face and Kat's face. So it should be pretty clear. And then we want to hear from you for couch talks or anything else you want to share. Couch Talks will be our Q&A episode, which will be every Thursday. So coming up in a couple of days, we'll have our very first Couch Talks. And the email for that is heythere@feelingthingspodcast.com. Kat originally thought it was hello, but...
Yeah, sorry.
Whoopsie.
I also got locked out of our email for like 3 weeks. I was silently panicking, but we're in.
We're in.
Yeah.
We are in. We're reading your emails. So heythere@feelingthingspodcast.com. Thank you for being here. And
we hope you
have
the day
you need
to have.
Boom.
Bye.
Bye.